Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
That will help folks to grow and help folks to look at themselves. And we are just grateful to be here tonight. We're talking about a very interesting subject tonight. I think it might be one of all our favorite subjects, but I won't really call it that right yet. But we're talking about sex tonight, folks.
If you're in the mood or not.
Yeah, and we're going to do it clean. We're going to do it professional.
The kids don't got to leave the building.
Right. Well, maybe.
Oh, they will if you going to do it.
Yeah. It depends on how they grew up. If they grew up hearing the truth, then they might need to listen to some of this. But
they ain't here. They still believe in Santa and the rest.
This is most indeed a grown folks conversation. And so we want to just make you aware of that early in the game so there won't be any surprises down the road. But we will keep it clean. We will keep it full of love. And it's always about interpersonal development. And so we're glad to be here with you tonight. My name is Craftmatic.
And I'm Smooth, Jeff.
And we have been a team for about a year and a half, just bringing you nothing but great subjects and great opportunities to dialogue amongst your own family members, your own friends. See, part of the problem is
what's that?
That nobody's healing.
No.
Nobody's improving themselves from within. Everybody's kind of using the world on the outside to better themselves. And this show is about just an interpersonal dialogue with yourself to determine, the right from the wrong, to determine what's good for you, what's bad for you, helps you make decisions. Man, it's just, it's part of my purpose. And man, I'm really, really grateful to be here with you tonight. So, Jay, you ready to take us on into tonight's prayer?
You know something, man?
What's that?
Yes, I'm going to let you take a second part of my prayer, but I'm going to take what you just said.
Okay.
I'm going to say, bow our head, Heavenly Father, please continue to make us grow on the inside, to get us to understand healing.
Yes.
Understand what the word you have for us, not to just listen to man, not to be foolish, but to understand mistakes and grow.
Yes.
That's the power of your love. Keep us under your grace and continue giving us your love.
Yes.
That's what I pray for everybody.
All right.
Amen.
Amen. Woo! Now, what radio show have you ever heard start out with prayer?
Hey,
I hope y'all don't shun us because of our beliefs, but we got strong beliefs, and let me tell you, they work. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that here. In fact, why don't we just jump right in? This is just a quote for the evening, and just something that I think people need to hear. Barbara put this together, and when I read it and absorbed it, I really thought it had a very special place in all of our hearts. It says, "For I have known the thoughts that I am thinking toward you, an affirmation of Jehovah or God, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you posterity and prosperity and hope." See, sometimes we think we are alone.
Oh.
Right?
And we're not.
And we're not. In fact, we're never alone. But you have to wake up to the presence that is there and available to you. And so just know, folks, that He is God. And no matter what you call God, God is looking over us all. He's making sure that our steps... I think every person has probably been in several life or death situations. And we are always saved. We have always been saved, at least up till now. And so that's why it's so important to be grateful, because somebody is always looking out for us. Somebody's always making sure that the food's on the table. Somebody's always making sure that you are guided to right decisions. Somebody's always making sure that you're full of peace and you're full of joy on the inside, in spite of what you may think the world has given you. Right. Oftentimes we have a tendency to label the world as stressful and tense and anxiety and frustrations and problems, but all the while you slept well last night. And there's a lot of folks who didn't sleep well last night. That's because they may be far from the Lord. So just the thought that to know that the Lord is looking out for you, and just close your eyes sometime and just tell Him what you need, and He'll be right there and bring it into your life.
There you go, boy. I tell you, you touch my soul every time. You just spared your Craftmatic.
You know what? That whole dialogue is so close to me, Jay. I mean, that's who I am. I live every day. We all live by way of philosophy. And we carry it into religion and spirituality and all kind of other names. But the philosophy is the system or the train of thought that helps comfort my spirit. And so, the Lord is my train of thought, and he governs everything that I have, that I do, everything that I am. And it's just a great way to walk through life without having to worry about if the unknown is going to get you.
And when you think about that, and as powerful as that is, remember the topic from last week's show.
Yes.
And if you really hold on to that, then you ask yourself, what are the things that push people away?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta ask yourself, if you really spiritually connected, you wouldn't be pushing people away, not at least they not connected.
Right.
But again, if you running after flesh, it's totally different. And I like to say, when we was talking about this, I think we had a great dialogue about how we push people away, because again, what we get into.
Yes.
When you kind of chasing after something that you really don't desire, but it's something that you just want, because men are hunters, and we run out, but you ain't going spiritually, you're just going after fleshly. Normally you get bored. You lose interest.
Absolutely.
When you're spiritually fed, it's totally different.
Yeah.
It would even lead to today's talk.
Okay. Even lead to today's
but
talk.
we ain't gonna go to today's just yet. We're
Yeah.
gonna go back on last week's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And folks, if you missed a fabulous show last week, again, the topic was, as Jay mentioned, what are the things that people do to push one another away? How do we mess up a good thing, maybe a good relationship? What are the pitfalls for building a relationship? And we named probably 10 or 12 things. We don't like liars.
No.
We don't like people who take from you, people who don't know how to give. We don't like noisy people, disrespectful people, unprofessional people. And when people have those types of traits, we have a tendency to push them outside of our circle. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what's even more important is that those of us, and all of us at one point, are getting pushed out of someone's circle.
Yeah.
Because we are behaving improperly.
Yeah, I'm loud.
I mean, something like, if you share something very personal and intimate with someone, and then they go tell somebody else.
That's typical.
I mean, it is typical in the world,
Typical.
but that's a person who you would push out of your circle. And if you get pushed out of a circle for doing that, you are completely disrespecting the relationship that you have with that person. You are going against the grain. You are breaking the rules, because if someone tells you something in confidence, you have to keep it in confidence. Okay? Unless there's a life or death, some kind of other ulterior, situation. But there are many things that we do to hinder relationships, and we just wanted to take some time to wake people up as to what those things are.
I like to stir stuff up. I'm just saying.
Wake those. We want to wake people up to make sure that you are becoming aware of the types of attitudes and behaviors and maybe personalities that push people away from you. And if you're getting pushed away, maybe it's time to change. If somebody's told you all your life that you're kind of loud and obnoxious, it's time to listen, and it's time to wake up. And there's nothing wrong with swallowing, a little pride sometimes.
That's a big pride for you.
It is, Jay, but it's very necessary, man. You can't just say what you want to say when you want to say it. That's not how the world works.
I found that out.
I'm not so
I found
sure.
out that didn't work out very well for me. In jobs, in relationships.
And especially in jobs. And, we crossed over into the dialogue quite a bit about what happens at work.
Oh, yes.
And, it is important for you to figure out, hey, are you blowing an opportunity at work, or are you falling in line so that you can keep the environment strong, keep your reputation strong, keep the respect coming at you in the right way? Those are just things for us to think about and to wake up to. So it was a dynamic show. As I said again, I'd love for you folks to reach out to either our website, or we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Spreaker, Periscope, yeah.
That's all right, bro. I'm ready with you.
Listen, we're all over the place. If you will just simply Google us, Bar Talk with Jay, and you'll find that we're everywhere that you could possibly be. We have over 72-hour shows full of very intense dialogue. about what's going on in people's minds, what's going on in people's lives, and some opportunities to better yourself. You'll hear some great dialogue and some scripts, some prescriptions almost to better yourself. And we all need to be better.
All day long.
We all need to be better. In fact, that is the nature of life. I walked out on my back door the other night, and I looked at this tree that was sitting in the backyard. And the only thing that come through my mind is that the tree is relentlessly attempting to grow. That with every fiber of its being, with all the resources at the roots, with, I'm talking about everything that makes the tree, it is working diligently to be the very best tree that it can be. Now, maybe trees can be lazy. Maybe that's why they don't grow branches on some of them.
Is that why some of them be leaning? Like, this is so cool.
Right? But, we're not going to talk about the consciousness of a tree.
Okay.
So, once again, folks, stay with us, man. We're all over the place.
That's grand for you.
All right, let's cover the quote for today. Nature holds the key to our aesthetic, intellectual, cognitive, and even spiritual satisfaction. Nature holds the key. Tell us a little bit more about that, Barbara. What were you thinking when you were contemplating nature?
Silence of the Lambs.
Your mic's not working? You must have turned it down. Okay. She said you gonna turn the mic up? Okay.
I get the humming sound.
Well, we might as just chime in for her.
Yeah. Nature holds the key to our aesthetic, intellectual, cognitive, and even spiritual satisfaction. Oftentimes, we will basically measure our sense of satisfaction by things that are unreal. Sometimes we measure our satisfaction by what has happened in the past. Sometimes we measure it by our expectations. Sometimes we measure our satisfaction by how it feels, what people have to say. But it's important to take a step back and to just see what's going on around you ultimately and find the good. Because the good is always present if you're able to just pay attention to it. If you're able to focus on it enough that you'll see the good. So let's assume you're standing in a room with several people. And you're not really having a good time. You don't really care much for the people that are around you. It's kind of late. You're hungry. It's
you don't have to be describing my job.
You got homework when you get home. You got to do some work at home. You got kids to feed. You got all kinds of stuff going on, right? So in that very moment, it is easy for us to say, I'm not satisfied. I'm not fulfilled right here. And so you can wallow in unfulfillment, or you can change your mind. Right? And if you will just take a look around, what you'll find is that in most cases, you'll find like-minded people. You'll find people that may help you if you just needed some help. If you couldn't buy lunch that day, or if you needed help with your work project, they may not be your favorite people, but you can find the good in them because they were put there along with you for a very specific purpose. And if you fight the purpose, then you're not accepting the natural.
Gotcha.
Right? You got to find a way to accept it. When we talk about spiritual satisfaction, oftentimes we tell ourselves, I don't feel well. I don't feel well. I don't have enough time. I'm in trouble. Things are bad. You have to get those negative thoughts out of your mind, and you got to reach for the positive thoughts. The positive thoughts are really natural thoughts, right? Only if something is interfering with goodness will goodness not exist. Right? If you're finding yourself always thinking downward, right, then you're really not paying attention to what me and Phil might call the truth.
Oh, Lord.
Right? Because if you look upward, you'll see the sun still shining. And you'll see life still going on all around you. The question is, are you going to participate in it? Right? So there is a natural expression of satisfaction that we have to pay attention to. And sometimes it's being proud about what we did yesterday or what we did last week or how we finished that project. Sometimes it's looking over your shoulder and remembering how you came out of the valley so many times, right? It's natural to look back at your accomplishments. When you look back at what you achieved, you'll feel satisfaction. Natural, genuine, holistic satisfaction. But if you look over your shoulder and you see failure or misfit or I'm not good enough or I'm not pretty enough or all of that good stuff, you're not looking at the truth. You're looking at really fear. They call it false evidence appearing real, right? That's all you're looking at. And fear is not natural. Fear is man-made, right? Because we were all put here with a divine courage that leads us all through life.
I want to jump in on this one
Please,
because
Jeff.
again, I mean, when you brung it, and I was playing with you, and I was saying, yeah, you describing my job. And the falseness of that is a lot of times you look at your jobs and you're not happy, but a lot of times you're not happy because you're not understanding yourself.
Right.
Because again, your job shouldn't be taking all your joy away. You're allowing that to happen. Okay, the negative vibes gonna come no matter where you at. You gotta understand yourself.
Absolutely.
So when I go in there, rejoice. I find spiritual quotes in the early in the morning.
There you go.
So when I go in there at a sense that I'm not trying to make everybody happy.
Right.
But one thing I'm not gonna do is push negative energy early in the morning, like they normally do.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now I'm starting to get more positive energy back.
Right.
We're having more fun.
Right.
And enjoyment. And again, it starts with you.
Right.
You can't expect somebody else to come out like you until you show them you.
Yeah.
I didn't know me until it took time. And when I developed and I started doing my mental healing through you and then writing things down. Now, and again, the reason why you look at your failures, it's in your mind. Them the things that just stands out, okay? If I did 5 correct things and 1 thing wrong, everybody focus on the one wrong.
Right.
You're not looking at my other accomplishments.
Right.
That's life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep looking at your failures, you would not continue to do all the other things right. You will just keep looking at that one thing.
That's right.
And you'll get off path.
That's right.
But if you write them down, you'll find out that one thing ain't nothing compared to the multiple of, because remember, some failures are lessons.
Right.
Okay? And when you look at it as a lesson, it don't bother you after a while. It only bothers you. You can't get past it.
Right.
You have to get past it because things are happening all the time. It's called formulas to me.
Right.
And all formulas don't work. And when I've been doing this show, I ran into a lot of obstacles. And I thought I had it. I knew what to do. And I'm realizing that I have to start talking to other people. I'm not the brightest. I'm not the smartest. But one thing I'm not is stupid. I'm bright enough to know I need help. So when I went out and started talking to some people, they didn't give me the full formula that I need, but they gave me a piece of it.
Gave you a piece
And
of
when it comes to a formula, you know how to put things together, stir it up.
Right.
And guess what? With their help, I was able to make a formula that start working when nothing was working.
Yeah.
Because again, it's up to you to be more open and transparent of where you're at compared to where everybody else want to be. Because nobody want to see my vision. It's up to me to show you my vision. And that's why y'all watching this show today. Because again, I really feel like we have to come with it and quit waiting on somebody else.
Yeah, I think this is a show. You know, if you were to rewind this tape to how we started this conversation, we're talking about the nature, right? We're talking about nature, in fact, nature, but kind of the nature of satisfaction, right? How to get through life with the experience of satisfaction in your heart. And what we both said is that it's all about what you pay attention to. It's all about your perception. It's all about the way you think. And that's why I say we need a show on that, because there's a lot more to be said about paying attention to the right things. That's what I love about this show, man. We hit points that everybody's dealing with, but oftentimes we haven't heard it in a way that will allow us to grow. And if you get nothing else from this conversation, you got to pay attention to the good. That I had a pastor once told me that what you're looking at is what you're looking with. And so if you're looking at something horrible, it says you're looking at it with a consciousness of horrible. right? If you're looking at something ugly, then you're looking at it from a consciousness of ugly, right? If you were to call someone ugly, which no one should ever do, but if you were to call someone ugly, then you're looking at them with the consciousness of ugly. You got an ugly consciousness, right?
Oh, that's what that is.
That's what that is.
I mean, some people hard on the eye.
Stop it.
I'm just saying.
Don't just say it.
I ain't just saying it, but I'm just in my mind. I wouldn't just say it to
You
him.
gotta change your mind, Joe.
I was trying, but
It ain't
my
about how
eye said.
It's not about how they look. It's about what they brought to the table.
I couldn't tell.
How they helped you.
When they walked across my eyesight, it said, my brain registered. My bad.
Lord.
I
Listen,
need help.
I'm
man.
scared of you with tonight's subject.
Okay.
And so let's go ahead and bring it to you, folks. It's about time for us to go to break, so let us set this up. Tonight, we are talking about sex. The atmosphere of sex, right? So that's what it's going to come down to when you get to the bottom of it. But here's the question for tonight.
What's the question?
Should a woman in a relationship give a man sex every time he wants it, whether she's in the mood or not? Yes, no, or maybe.
Can we change that?
Say again? What you say, Bar?
Can we change that to should a man or a woman?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of our discussions have to be interchangeable because we're just people talking about people and life and stuff. But what a twist.
I like the twist.
There's some very interesting dialogue to be had about this conversation because it's not just about sex in the relationship. It's not just about what you want and what I want. There's something more going on. And we're going to get to the bottom of it tonight. So
It's going to get hot tonight.
It's going to get hot tonight, boy.
Hey, before we go to break, one of the things I want to make sure y'all know that we're doing a Valentine special with Pastor Anthony.
Yes.
This Friday. So please come out. Me, Craft, Barbara, everybody's going to be in the building. Go to my website, bartalkwithj.com. I got it on the front page. It'll give you access to it. It tells you exactly how to get there. And also, it got the price. It's $25. So again, come and support. He's giving specials for the ones that's trying to get married. We're talking about Pastor. And he got food. He got a lot of activities. And if y'all catch me to the side, we can go have a drink. Okay? The Pastor can't say it. I'm going to tell you. Come on out. I'm going to have my boy Robbo on the wheels of steel. We're going to have some music. We're going to have some entertainment.
Right.
One thing about Bar Talk with Jay, we're about partying, having fun. We spiritual. That's why we with the good Pastor Anthony.
Yeah.
To keep it right. So the music going to be tight. It will not be foul. We're going to have a great time. It's Valentine's Day. If you had no plans for your lady, come on out and celebrate with us. And secondly and foremost, Jay needs your help. On YouTube, please subscribe.
Yes.
Go to YouTube and hit subscribe. And the number one thing I want you to know, it costs you nothing.
Right.
This subscription is not one of those subscriptions that later on is a penny or
Right.
no. We're on YouTube. There's no cost to you guys at all. I'm asking because again, what it does is it helps the ratings of my show.
Right.
So I'm asking you, that's not gonna cost you a dime out your pocket to help me with prescription. If you have a friend, just ask them to subscribe. One of the things we're trying to do is grow. And we need your help, and it's not going to cost you anything. It's just going to ask you to click of a button when you watch. That's simple. What we got next there, Crap? You about to take us out with something?
Yeah, man, I'm going in kind of hard tonight since we're talking about a rough subject. I got
I don't know about rap
I
yet.
got some hard stuff, but it's clean, so y'all just enjoy.
Welcome back with Bar Talk with Jay. Yes, we back with the smooth sounds of Craftmatic man doing his thing.
Craftmatic, boy, that's how we do.
You know what's up next?
What's that, man?
TK's on the line. So you know Craftmatic is happy right about now. Boy, I tell you, boy, he go to clapping, boy. I'm talking about Crab be like in church. He be clapping and stomping at the same dang on time. I'm like, okay, we got praise up in here. It's just TK.
I don't know why you so hard on me, Jay. Yeah, I know. I just get excited when
I
our co-hosts come
I
on.
know, bro, but that's a whole lot of excitement. I'm just saying, you don't get excited from nobody else out there. Maybe it's nothing. Anyway, hey TK, how you doing?
I'm good, love. How are you?
I tell you, girl, I'm just excited to hear your voice as always.
Yes.
Because you won't come in the building but one time since we seen you.
That's all right.
all I'm saying.
I seen that.
And now that my man seen you, he want to see more of you. And you just won't come on and commit to doing the right things. Whoa! No, we're having a little church up in here. Anyway, girl, your presence is always required up in the building. Come on up in here, let everybody see the loveliness
I'm
of
going to have to
TK.
make an appearance.
Yes, it would.
Yes.
I'm going to have to commit to more.
Yes, listen, an annual appearance would be lovely, you know.
You know, weekly. Grab want to see you weekly.
Weekly.
Yes, weekly.
Daily.
Might have to do a little bit more Skype.
Right. So what you got for us tonight, Miss TK?
Okay, this subject is a little weird for this time of year. I know it's Valentine's Day and everybody's in love with faking love, use a gift or whatever the case may be. But this one is a little personal and it became more prominent to me today. How do you deal with depression and with younger kids, middle school, younger, who openly have an open conversation with you about ending their life? How do you have a conversation about suicide and its effect when you're dealing with a 10, 12, 13-year-old who feels like not having enough friends, not winning a basketball game, the girl that he likes or she likes, the person they like not liking them back? How do we deal with it? What information how do you have that conversation with them or the teacher or the other parent that's involved in the situation when your kid comes to you and has those issues?
All right, I'm going to say to you quickly, a lot of times you get in your own feeling when you hear this and you attack a situation and you really need to step out of your feelings because they're giving you something, and if you get in your feelings, they're going to feel more lost than they already was.
Okay.
When they starting to feel like they want to commit suicide, that's a serious situation. You can't take it lightly because that's your child. He shouldn't even be thinking these things. The thought's there, and you need to know what's drumming it up. And a lot of times they don't give it all to you, and that's why counseling is definitely recommended because again, you have to get to the deep root of what's really going on, and they don't always give it to you because it's emotional overload. And if you don't catch it in time, they follow through. And that is the saddest tragedy because a lot of times people have signs. We're not catching it because we're hearing woof a lot. You know, they're always talking kind of crazy. Well, we need to really listen and have more of an open ear instead of a hardened heart when it comes because it's our child. They would never do this. Well, understand, they're going through something different than we did. Different time, different era. And a lot of times when I start hearing, oh, no one cares for me, you don't love me, these are signs of cry out. And my whole thing is don't combat it to, you don't know what you're talking about. Because see, that's negative on negative. A lot of times you got to open them back up to the love that you showed them before. Why would you say that and you know I love you? You know, open it up with a dialogue where they will have to discuss it other than just that you hate me. That's not true. There's nothing I really showed you that you would really say that, but somebody fed that to you. I need to know what's feeding you. I have to give you a different perspective on your own life because it's meaningful. Me and your mama made you for a reason. And we weren't for sure what that was. I had to pray. But God answered and he said, well, I had you, I got them. And that's when I had to bow down to my maker and realize I don't have it all. And he said that's why it takes a tribe. So don't be scared to get counseling. Don't be scared to get outside help thinking that you can fix it all. We cannot. That's one of the biggest problems today is thinking that you can fix it with old remedies. It's a new time.
Yes.
And we're doing old things causing more damage than good.
Yes.
So please make sure we do more out the box things of getting help, getting counselors. Again, a lot of people don't like to go grab their pastor. I cannot tell you not to because I really will. I will grab a pastor in a heartbeat because they give me more ideas. The more information you can get to help them through it, you can help others as well. I can only say it takes time and it also takes an open mind. You cannot be closed-minded to it will never happen to me, because I've lost close friends with suicide,
Yes.
and it hurts my heart to this very day dearly.
Yeah.
And I can't bring them back, and I really wish I could have did more, but it's not for me to feel that pain. It's for me to do more.
It's for you to do.
And that's what they
Right.
will be hollering out to me as an angel. You know something? Don't let my death be a tragedy. Make it a celebration.
Yes.
If you can save a life, then you know something. You might not have saved me, but you helped me
Yes.
help another.
Yes.
And that's where I want to take it, instead of just looking at it as a negative.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead, Kraft.
Man, there's not much else left to say, Jay. I think you really, you really pinned the nail on the wall on this one. You know, as I'm hearing you describe, and you said very few words, Ms. TK. You said very few words to put the question on the table. What I heard in your voice set off an alarm in my head. Like you are dealing with something that is extremely critical and very, very sensitive. It's like you ever, seen those movies where somebody or the soldiers are walking through a minefield, and you just didn't know when the next step was going to cause calamity. That's where you are right now, and that's where I want you to be right now. That's where you need to be right now, with a keen sense of awareness about what's going on with your child. And of course, we're going to recommend to sit and have a conversation and to listen and to understand. No one knows your child like you do. But what parents oftentimes miss is that they only spend a couple hours a day with their child. And their child is in the street playing with friends and neighbors. Their child is at school. Their child is taking in all kinds of information and being treated all kinds of different ways by all kinds of different people. And you don't know what their hot button is, because they probably, the children typically don't open up to the parents like that. So, and some of those hot buttons may have been stirred up from many years. They could be some childhood thing. You never know. Ultimately, I would call all of this some form of sickness, and it needs to be treated like it's pneumonia right now. The first thing I would always recommend is get help. There's no trickery to that word, but getting help could mean talking to your pastor. It could mean talking to your best friend, your father, your parent. It could mean going to talk to the teacher at school, the principal. It might mean talking to your children's friends' parents. You need to probably identify every form of constituency that your child has and begin to understand, where your children are getting this from. Maybe they're being bullied at school. Maybe their grades are weighing heavy on their hearts and minds. Maybe they have a mental illness. Maybe they have a bipolar type issue, and they may need medication. And medication can fix and heal a lot of that. I'm told now that 75% or greater of all medications prescribed in the United States of America are for mental health. That means our children are really beginning to experience some dynamic issues in the world that's causing their sense of self to slip away, and they need help. And so we're now using medications to help a lot of young people, but more importantly, a lot of grown folk. And it's an interesting subject, because I came across a cartoon just yesterday that suggested that if so many people are sick and need medicine, then the emotions that are being manufactured out of people who take medicines are medicated emotions. They're not genuine emotions. They're not hardcore emotions. They're not emotions that come truly from the heart. They're emotions that are being influenced by their medication and by their treatments, their mental treatments. So now you got issue on top of issue, right? On top of issue on top of issue. So my dialogue is really to open up the minds of those people who may be experiencing something with their child. And you might be experiencing something with your spouse or your significant other. You would take similar steps. But you got to find help. There's a lot of 800 numbers to call. You can go on any web, online, just Google someone to call, and you can start getting the help that you need. Don't try to take it into your hands, and don't overlook the issue as though it's nothing. He'll be all right. Because suicide is one of those things that's like Russian roulette. You put one bullet in the chamber and spin it around, and you just don't know when the next occasion or situation is going to cause them to pull their own trigger. So I'm glad you brought this up, TK. What is your take on the subject?
First, let me clear it up, Jerry. Let me take your alarm down. It's not our girl.
All right, okay. Thank you. She know how I am. She know how I feel.
Right.
That girl know that I don't play.
I can kind of, so it's not our girl.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Okay. So we can bring you off. We can bring you off.
But I'm staying where I'm at. Because I'm like that with all people. But when it's close to me, I can't.
Right. So let's bring you off. It's not our girl. We good.
All right.
But this is somebody who's really, really close to us. We know her.
Yes.
And her kid. Well, you don't know her kid, but you know her.
Okay.
And the conversation was brought to me. I just feel like I know I'm not the easiest person to talk to, but people tend to want to talk to me, I guess, for whatever reason.
Okay.
But for her to come to me, I felt like, okay, we usually play around about other stuff. This, to me, is real personal.
Yes.
So for her to reach out to me, I feel like she's at her within not knowing. So having somebody to talk to that you know is going to give you the cold hard truth, if it's ugly, good, bad, or indifferent, to deal with your situation so you'll know how to approach is imperative to any relationship. I don't need yes man friends. I want friends who are telling me you messed up and you messed up bad, you need to get together. Having those type of people around you as a support system for whatever you're going through is very, very important.
Yes.
Because then when you go to them, you're going to get the cold hard truth despite your feelings. So they're not trying to save your feelings, they're trying to save you.
Right.
Not your feelings.
Right.
So that, to me, is when you start weeding out those friends that are just there for the party, or those friends that are there for a long haul. I don't want any party friends. I want my friends to be good through the ups and downs, the highs and lows. And this situation, to me, kind of starts setting people apart. When you can call somebody like, listen, I'm going through this, and they're like, girl, I'm going to call you back. This was a drop everything, and I'm on my way, I'm going to pick my keys up, and we've been having this conversation face to face, because I need to know what you got going on.
And did you have that conversation?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you don't have to tell us what you talked about.
I'm a friend who was riding from here to China. I'm glad.
I like that.
I have no issues. I'm gone. You call me, for a person to call me, Jerry knows.
Oh, yeah.
You have to understand, when you call me, you know it's already go. The argument is over, the conversation is over. It's go time.
Right. And I appreciate that in you, and it's why I want you in my world.
That's right.
I need those kind of people. Yeah.
But hold on. And also, just please understand, you also have another tool. Me and Kraft will be, our number. If you don't know Kraft,
right,
I'll give it to you. Again, if they need to hear from another point of view, we're more than happy to make ourselves available to do it. I don't always have to know them. I'm going to give it to you. I will give it to you just like if it was close to me. I'm not going to give it any other kind of way.
And can you imagine having that child sitting here at this table, just having a conversation about self-confidence?
Sure.
It would do an amazing thing for that child. And not that the conversation is pointed to them, but we're just going to have a talk about self-confidence and self-love and building oneself and overcoming hurdles. And that child may not be having those conversations or experiencing those conversations. I would say most children aren't. Most children don't get exposed to this. Most adults don't get exposed to this kind of stuff. So we need more of it. And so, listen, it's just about time for us to break. But I want to take 1 minute, Ms. TK, and get your opinion on the subject for tonight.
Ask the crowd.
The question is, and it's 2 sentences, but here we go. Should a woman in a relationship give a man sex every time he wants it, whether she's in the mood or not? Yes, no, or maybe?
Go ahead, TK.
See, that's a trick question.
Okay.
It's a trick question because something in me says yes, but then something in me says if he is doing what he's supposed to do as a man, absolutely no question that there's nothing off limits, there's no place off limits, there's no time off limits. But if he is not doing what a man is supposed to do, then no. So it's kind of iffy based on him. If he's being the man that he's supposed to be, either with a facade, if he's taking care of home and cheating in the street, but he's taking care of home, and you don't have no, then yeah, why? Why not?
Right.
I don't see an issue with pleasing your man. I was taught 2 things you don't do, so you will know it's never you. You don't send him out horny, and you don't send him out hungry. If you take care of home, then you should be good.
You sure made Crab happy. Boy, you just made a hungry hippo over here, boy.
Let's drop the mic on that one, boy. Woo, I love it. I love it. If he, and you know what?
She gave 2 good examples.
I think we might need more of you in this show. I don't know if you have capacity to be with us for a little while, but we ain't gonna kick it off until about 8 o'clock. So if you are available, we'd like to call you back so you can participate in this conversation. Okay. Let's count on that. It is most certainly time for us to go break. To break, and Mr. TK, you are always on fire. I love the subject for tonight.
Yes, he do.
It's a moving subject, and many folk are probably dealing with it in their homes, in their neighbors' homes, in their auntie, uncles, cousins' home, and their children. And so let's take heed to what was said tonight. We're going to take a break. We are coming back with the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey.
Yes,
he is going to be on and popping as per usual.
So you hope to get it. All right, we back with Bar Talk with Jay, and it's on fire. Wow. TK did her thing on that one.
She did her thing.
And guess what?
What's up?
Now we got my man, Jeffrey. Jeffrey got one thing to ask you up front before we ask you anything else. How in the heck was your day?
Brother Jay, man, it was a long day again.
Oh, Lord.
But we made it happen. Brother Kraft, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing fabulous, brother. Doing fabulous. How are you this evening, man?
Oh, man, today is a special day. It's a day that everything will go a certain young lady's way. But before we get to that, I'm just going to let you know that you know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
It is time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view.
Okay.
Now, I got one reason for the habitually single woman, and I got one reason for the habitually single man as to why they might be single. But before we get to that, here is my disclaimer. Now, what I'm going to talk about might not apply to you. And if it doesn't apply to you, I don't want you to put your foot in this shoe. But if it does apply to you, I want you to put both feet in both shoes and walk around in them, because you're going to learn something tonight. Ladies, you are first. Ladies, you might be single because you are in love with your pain. You are in love with your pain. Now, let me tell you what I mean. Now, see, you all snuggled up with your pain. You've embraced it, and you decided that it is better to love your pain than it is to risk being vulnerable for another chance at love.
Oh, my God.
So, ladies, I need you to understand that the best lovers are not the lovers who have never been hurt. No, the best lovers are the lovers who've been hurt before and decided to keep on trying to love again.
Yes.
Those are the best lovers.
Preach, man.
I need you to understand, ladies, that you can be in love with your pain all you want to. You can hold on and embrace that pain every day of your life for the rest of your life. But what you will discover is that love affair that you have with your pain will block your blessings, and as long as it's blocking your blessings, well, your ass is going to remain painfully single.
Man, listen, that's not funny, man.
It
ain't funny.
But it's true.
I'm feeling convicted, and he on the woman's side. I'm going to be convicted on all three tonight, I guess. Because that is true, man. You know, sometimes you just don't want to go through it again. And I'm going to tell you, and then we're going to jump on the men's thing from Jeffrey. But I heard a sermon this week that's called Fighting the Good Fight. And long story short, that the prophet was gonna bless this woman who was already wealthy. And when he said, "What do you need?" She said, "I don't need nothing. I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm good." And he was like, "There's got to be something." So he asked the servant, and the servant said, "Well, she's without children, and her husband is old." And so there was a need. There was a need. Sometimes we get comfortable in our pain, man. That's what I'm talking about. We want to hold on to it. We don't want to hold on to it, but we do for fear of going to the next level. So we got to fight the good fight, man. What a great, great point, Jeffrey. And I'll let you chime in and keep going. That's outstanding, bro.
Now, brothers, don't think that I'm letting you off the hook.
No.
Fellas, you are next. Now, brothers, you might be single because you are, in no other way of putting it, you're just too damn woke. You are too woke. You are so woke that you sleep on our women and their brilliance. You're so woke that you dream of submission, but you lack the awareness to inspire it in a woman. You're so woke that your worst nightmare is an independent woman who expects you to earn her trust, earn her respect, and to earn her submission. You're so woke that you forget about your mother and your sisters and your daughters and your aunts and how necessary they are because you're just so woke. Well, brother, you can stay woke and you can stay conscious, you can even stay deep. But until you recognize how necessary our women are as our balance, well, your ass can stay woke and you still gonna be single.
Wake up to that.
There I am convicted. There I am convicted again.
He got you today.
He got me. But listen, I ain't never heard of nobody telling me to downgrade my consciousness.
You too overly confident.
I've been told that before, but something sounds like he's saying dumb it down a little bit, Kraft. You're overthinking this thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't forget that a woman in your life would brighten your life. She wouldn't be burdensome because she, have womanly ways as it relates to how men think about it. She wouldn't get on my nerves. She wouldn't take up too much time. She wouldn't cause me to want to, not go to the ball game or hang out with the fellas. See, that's what I think he's talking about, being too awoke, right? That we're gonna miss Mrs. Right because we trying to be too conscious about the situation. Love is not going to allow you to be conscious. When you enter into love, you're gonna be young, dumb.
Oh Lord.
That's how love treats people, right? Because it doesn't make sense. Love doesn't make sense. You fall in love with somebody, you only known them 3 days, and you want to see them, you're thinking about them, you want to give your bank account number and your life to these people, and it just don't make sense. So, man, I'm hearing you, Brother Jeffrey.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm convicted with a lot of that too.
Yeah.
And the reason I want to say is that woke is a lot of time you hinder on your past and not your present.
Right.
Like I have a vision of my show and my dreams and my passion.
Right.
But when it comes to relationships, I try to put a halt to it because I was so involved with that, I wanted to focus on something else. And because of that,
You too woke.
it causes some issues.
Yes.
And even the issues I noticed. But then again, I never said I was well. I started just because I needed help.
Right.
And bringing people together and talking about relationships is something that people don't normally always do. They talk about one perspective, but not all.
Right.
My whole thing is it don't fit every category, and it takes people time. What I notice is people rush people out of it because they see good in you, but if they're not ready, they're going to go back. It's called behavior and habit. So again, you got to understand how you have to give people time and patience. People don't change overnight. And what I'm noticing, when you start falling in love with a person, you want to see that change more rapidly. And that's not really fair when that person's not there.
Absolutely.
And I've been there. And I will say, I'm getting better. Because these talks make me analyze myself and evaluate myself. And hold myself more accountable, where before, I was like, they ain't going to keep me from my happiness, But guess what? Happiness is going to be with me regardless. It started with me.
Yeah. Gotta dumb it down, Jay.
I know.
Don't overthink it.
I'm working it, man.
Go ahead, Brother Jeffrey.
Go ahead, man. We got some Timberlands tonight, baby. We got them on, baby.
Yeah, we
you
wearing
picking with us, man. I know you had a bad day. You had to come up here and like that. Anyway, go ahead.
Man, listen, I want you guys to understand and celebrate with me. Today is my granddaughter's first birthday.
Wow. Happy birthday.
So, yeah, man, I'm going to tell y'all something. There was a whole rebirth in me when that little girl, just looked in my direction for the first time.
Yeah.
I need you to understand something. What we men have to remember is that there is a lineage that we have to protect. And I love my children. I love my daughter, and I love my son. I love my mother and my brothers and sisters. But when you start to look at your bloodline, when you start to look at your legacy as a father and then as a grandfather, you start to see how a man can have an impact on generations.
Yes.
And just how necessary men are for the upliftment of generations. Ladies, I don't mean to say that you're not responsible and that you aren't necessary, because you are. You're vital.
Right.
You're vital.
Right.
But there's something else that's needed, and that's that man that has enough wisdom, enough energy, and enough strength that will transcend just his generation and his children's generation, but also reach down to his grandchildren and their children, that will keep that family aligned in excellence.
Yes.
So when I got up this morning, I went and worked out, and I sat down and I just typed something up. I didn't even have to think about it. My fingers were on autopilot as I was just expressing the love that I have for my lineage, my heritage,
Yes.
my legacy.
Yes.
So fellas, you got to take pride in it, man. It's not just about making babies. It's about establishing generational excellence.
Right.
Because generational excellence, it goes beyond just your household. It goes up and down your street.
Yes.
And up and down your street is your community. And I say it all the time, once we rebuild our communities, well, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I just need you guys just to celebrate with me just a little bit the anniversary of the birth of my granddaughter, who carries my grandmother's middle name.
Yes.
Or who carries my grandmother's name as her middle name.
Right.
So I'm just overjoyed and elated today, man, because that little girl last year this time peeked her eyes up at me and looked at me and started blinking, and the whole world changed.
Yes.
That's all I got.
You know something? That's the influence of a young woman.
Yes.
A young girl changed my man. That's impactful to the world. And that just lets you know how spiritual you are. So I celebrate today and the rest of her life with you, my brother.
Yes.
We there for you.
Yes. And let me just get on my soapbox a little bit, because Jeffrey's soapbox is one that we don't talk about and talk about often enough. He's talking about generational excellence, protecting the lineage. And he's asking men to take pride in family. Right? That's what he said is, his works is to do. Pastor Anthony, his works is to bring the family together, to strengthen the family. And as he was talking, yet and still, I felt convicted again.
That's 3, man.
I know, man. That's
Man.
3. That's 3. I felt convicted. And here's the question I asked myself: who knows if it'll ever happen? This is Kraft just putting his heart on the table.
Okay.
I asked myself, how is it possible for me to protect my lineage, and take pride and create generational excellence if I'm single? Like, I can do it on the perimeter, but when you're talking about father and daughter and granddaughter, that that should be in a home, in a family outings and cookouts and family vacations and life stories and lessons, and it just seems like I don't know, like maybe I need to step up, and I'm not sure if it's a woman that's going to cause me to be able to do what I know I need to do on a generational excellence type thing. You understand what I'm saying, Jay?
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of coming off the top, but
you came off the top. Just want to make sure you're in the ATL.
that's
So I want to make sure they understand. He ain't mean it with a certain way, would make anybody think the wrong way. I'm helping my boy out right about now because I know what he's saying. But for anybody out there that's thinking, no, that is not what he's saying. But for every woman out there, he's asking you to step to the table because again, he's saying it ain't gonna be you to bring it up, but it's gonna be a finesse. Yeah. And a great woman can bring that. And it's something even I have to look at, Craft.
I think maybe I'm not right. A woman could probably bring out my best. Right?
I think it can happen.
Yeah.
But again, we are so open.
Yeah, and we're ahead of the curve a little bit. We're already on game. I've already been married. I've already done that. But I just love the fact that Jeffrey, you're talking about such strong and such powerful and such eternal ideas. And this isn't just, even sometimes I get caught up because I'm a black man. I just think about, black families just because that's what's so close to me. But this is about families.
Yes.
And as families strengthen, no matter what culture or ethics or religion or background or geography, no matter where you come from, as families strengthen, that's the world strengthening, right? Because the world's level of trust is going to increase. The world's level of responsibility is going to increase. The world's levels of commitment are going to increase. Everything increases when the family strengthens. And we do have to take more time and pay more attention to how we are going to protect the lineage. There's a lot. That's its own show.
I know.
Yeah,
but you gotta ask Jeffrey the question of the night.
Okay.
I gotta know what Jeffrey got to say about this.
Let me commend and applaud you.
Jeffrey, you did that. You got the mic again tonight, man. You got Kraft on all three, and now I gotta admit I'm right behind Kraft. I definitely gotta look at.
Yeah.
But what's the nice topic for Jeffrey?
Okay, Jeffrey, I need your input here, and we got Miss TK. Miss TK had an interesting answer.
TK had a very good one.
The question for tonight is, should a woman in a relationship give a man sex every time he wants it, whether she's in the mood or not? Yes, no, or maybe. What is the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey's position on this subject?
All right now. Well, the answer is yes, however, it's the responsibility of that man who wants it to warm it up, to get it going, to cook it and eat it. So what I need you to understand now, just because he's in the mood for it, doesn't mean that he's been absolved of getting her ready to receive him. It's just not roll over, spread him, and let me have it.
Right.
It's let me get you in the mood so I can get what I want. Now, sometimes, it might be a little more difficult for that woman to be in that type of mood. That means that either you got to work harder or you got to let it build up another day. And when you get that extra 24 hours of wanting and just to make a head pop off.
Right.
The bottom line of it for me is this. Now, if you want it, warm it up. If you want it, warm it up, cook it, make sure you eat it, and then you can do whatever you want to do with it.
Yes, I like that.
Okay, we got a new cooking class for Chef Jeffrey.
I like that.
He be working with that spam right next to that ham.
Yeah, let me just share the underlying point here, and we do got to go to break. The underlying point that Jeffrey said is that you should give it to him, but the man has to position himself properly to get it. Right? It ain't just a given. And nobody wants to have cold, dry sex. I want some feeling and some emotion and some passion. I want your wheels spinning by the time I touch you. And that happens. You can speak, speaking lovely words. Maybe it's simple things like gifts and notes and cards and all that stuff. But women respond to how a man treats them. And you can start making love to your wife when she walk in the door. You give her a nice fat kiss. You probably ain't tongue kiss your wife in a long time, right?
That lick down.
Yeah, you might pull out an outfit for her to put on to walk around in the evening because you like that particular outfit. You might decide to bring dinner in and set it up so she won't have to be responsible for dinner. You might, go to bed early and break some special music. Maybe y'all dance, put a little candle and dance in the middle of the bedroom with some new music. I mean, there's so many ways to kick it in drive, but the man's got a responsibility, I would say, to earn it. Right? Not it's not just a given. You gotta set it up. You gotta get her in the mood. You got some work to do, fellas. And I think that is the right answer. Every time.
Sure.
I gotta agree. I will not go no further than to say we do have an obligation.
Yeah.
And again, just to hold a woman responsible for rolling over and doing something for us, and when we don't do nothing in return, it's selfish.
Yeah.
So we do need to be more open, and I like to say, Jeffrey, as always, drop the mic. You got it again.
You did.
You even hit that one over the head again.
You cut it up, man.
And I know you had a rough day at work because, again, we feel you again.
Well, listen, I'm going to start praying for you to have rough days at work.
I don't ever want to have rough days. Because every time that I get backlash.
No, it brings the best out of
But when I tell you, you're going to get the best out of Jeffrey no matter what. I don't care how his day goes.
I already know that.
Because he's going to bring you a spiritual side. And again, if y'all didn't know, Jeffrey got his own show again on Saturday. I promote him as well because again, what he does is a positive thing.
Yeah.
And there's one that's why I have him on my show. So Jeffrey, appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
You gotta go to break.
To the table.
Please, if y'all love what we do,
no worries, fellas.
You got it. If y'all love what we do, we're gonna be out with Pastor Anthony this weekend. Again, if you're looking at YouTube, subscribe. We'll give you more information on that when we get back. We back with Bar Talk with Jay. Ooh, I don't know what more to say. We hot and on fire. It's Valentine's Day coming up. By the time we have the next show, Valentine's Day will be over with. So for all you guys and girls that don't got nothing to do with Valentine's Day, come on out and kick it with me, Craftmatic and Barbara, and my man Rob. Oh yes, Rob, my DJ, will be in the building with Pastor Anthony.
Yes.
What we're going to be doing is something that's going to be more than what y'all ever can experience. If you really love and you want to have that little one-on-one to make sure you're ready for that next step. Yeah. Something that most of us scared of, don't be scared of it. Have that counseling.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, most of the books, and I read a lot of books. You know, again, my goal is 40 for the year. I think I'm already at like 8 for the year. But I don't value a lot of authors' information anymore because it seems like they're just selling books.
Right.
But Pastor Anthony is somebody I can get excited about learning something from. And because he's a pastor and because I know him, he's been here at the show, I've heard some of his dialogue and I understand, his works, that I'm very, very, I'm ready to dive into his program that night, man. I think it's going to be something that just opens, maybe open the door of my mind or my heart, but you can see I'm ready for change. I'm ready to learn about relationships and life and love. And no, I don't know it all. And if anybody knows me, I'm pretty confident in my ways and my means. But I'm open. I'm open to change so that I can experience the best life there is, man. And I think, really the only thing that's kind of missing from my life, I live a great life, is just having that special someone to come home to every day and to share my, my pains and my aspirations. That can be a wonderful thing. So I'm not crying here, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you sure sound like
I live a great life. I started out saying that.
You about to cry by yourself now.
You have a tendency to listen to my words and take ownership of things that don't have nothing to do with you.
It didn't, but it sure sounded like it was grabbing me. It was just pulling me.
Right.
It was pulling me.
So what's your take on the subject, Jay? Should a woman in a relationship give a man sex anytime he wants it, whether she's in the mood or not?
I'm going to tell you, from past experience to present, I learned when you know what's in you and you bring a good positive vibe, they will want to.
They'll want to.
But when you demanding because it's a role, see, it's different positions, and I'm not talking about anyone. Please, don't, especially men, don't come with me with the foolishness.
Right.
To say you're a man and it's demanded, and you ain't even doing manly things, don't come
Yeah.
with high expectations, and you ain't bringing nothing to the table.
Right.
Talking about you gonna do this because I'm man.
Right.
Well, man the heck up instead of asking for what you don't deserve.
Right.
Because again, I would want a person to want me. I don't expect a woman to just chase me, but I will want her to let me know I'm desirable and the things that you do, I love you. When you hear these things, it melts you. As me as a man, I'm a hard figure, so you probably won't see the melt. But in my warmness, I am happy.
Right.
Why am I happy? Because one of the things that's in me is that love. And when a woman brings that, it makes me feel more complete. Because again, all my hard work, all my vision and everything else is not the biggest vision without that completion. And that's why he took a piece from me.
Right.
To let me know there's more to this than just you. So it's up to you to realize the bigger picture. But again, is sex powerful? Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is. It means
Very
it
powerful.
means a lot.
And if you can harness that power with the respect of that person, then it's not going to really be a situation.
Right.
Where it comes to be a problem is when you start disrespecting and asking for something and you're not contributing.
Right.
It's like what Jeffrey said, you got to know how to cook. It shouldn't just be a woman. A man should know how to put it in again. Shit.
Right.
I ain't saying what you need to do in the kitchen for your kids, and just saying, but for the grown folks, you need to know how to warm things up. And it ain't really about that kid and shit.
Yes.
But it is about that woman. And again, no one wants to be just pushed into it.
Right.
They like to be finessed.
Right.
And that finesse is a trick. Now, I can't tell you you're going to learn all this when we go with Pastor Anthony on tomorrow night. But you can get with Bar Talk with Jay, we can help you out.
Right.
Because we got Smooth Craftmatic, we got our own little healing. But the one thing we want to do is get different people's opinion. So now it's TK time. TK, we got to get a woman point of view. Yeah, that's why we got our girl back on. Let me tell you, TK is a hard shell to crack, okay? This is not the average, ordinary girl. And that's why I brought her on the show, because when I say one of the hardest female, very attractive, but one of the hardest ones, because a lot of times attraction looks, there's more behind it.
Right.
What I liked about her is behind them looks was a girly girl with a hard shell that packed a gun.
Right.
I'm just saying, play with her if you want to.
I am not the monster you create.
Girl, whatever.
He loved to set people up. man.
That ain't even no setup. TK, what I said, how far from the truth was I from what I described?
I mean, you were close. Your approximation, you were in the neighborhood.
Okay, I was about to say Kraft, because you just don't know. I know TK. Go ahead, girl. Give us your analogy on it. Because again, we gotta have a woman's point of view. We two men, I don't never want a woman to be left out. We're about positive vibes. What you got?
Right. Like I said in the first segment, it's just my personal opinion. So don't beat me up, and I probably will get beat up about it. This is just my personal opinion. When it comes to that, there's a if-he factor, like I said before.
Right.
If he is doing what a man is supposed to do, if he's in the role of a man, and I see no reason as to why, what would be your reason for denial if he is doing what a man is supposed to do? And people say, and I know that we have this woman thing, and we independent, and we want, no. There are roles. There are positions. And if a man is doing what he is supposed to do as his woman, there are things you're simply just supposed to do.
Right. Right.
And I feel like when he's doing his job, then part of, it's just not your whole job. Part of your job is to make sure he's satisfied by him paying the bills and make sure you're emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually in balance, he's doing his job. So you're supposed to do the same for him. There's no 50-50 in relationships. I'm going to give 100% of myself, so I expect 100% of him. So part of that is if he's giving his 100, I shouldn't be giving 99.
Right.
That's not fair. It's not fair to him because he's doing what he's supposed to do. So it won't be a reasonable excellence outside of simply physically not being able to, from illness, whatever the case may be. What would be the reason that you wouldn't?
Now, see,
If your man is doing what he's supposed to do, even if you're not in the mood, shortly thereafter you'll be in the mood.
right. And see, man, I like the way you think,
I
bro.
tell
I'm
you.
telling you. Now, I have heard on many occasions, and I think you probably have heard, Jay, the men of the world have heard about married couples having sex once a month. And I'm thinking, right. Listen, I'm thinking that something is wrong in that relationship or something's wrong in that house. And those two people are just not clicking for whatever reason. And we know, everyone knows that an argument can change the game for the night. If you have a disagreement, it shouldn't. It really shouldn't, TK. I'm with you on that. But oftentimes, people go to bed mad. They go to bed, you know. Even I and me and my ex-wife, we had sex like all the time. You know, we would have sex 6 days a week, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and then we might miss a couple days the next week. But we were, you know, we had a great sex life. And when we argued that we would go to bed mad, but somewhere around 2, 3 o'clock, we touch our toes.
Right back to doing it.
Yeah.
Us having sex does not negate the fact that I'm angry with you.
Right.
It doesn't change that I'm angry. It just, at sometimes, I just need to get this stress off my chest and let us go ahead and do this thing, and I'm going to take me a shower. I'm still angry with you.
Yeah. Be
And
mad with me.
It's amazing. That anger turns into amazing sex.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
It
doesn't
does.
change the fact that I'm upset about what I'm upset about. You're
Right.
my partner,
But-
and I'm still attracted to you even through my anger.
Yeah.
I'm still attracted to you, and sometimes anger brings those emotions where you need that physical gratification at that moment.
Yes.
And it's an amazing situation. So
You
I'm
do.
still mad. I'm gonna go take my shower, and I ain't talking to you. I ain't cooking you breakfast. I'm gonna make myself good so I can go to sleep.
Right.
This is it on purpose. Wait, hold on. If it's amazing, you better get that kitchen. You know, that's how you know it was good. When you get up and you
listen.
get that breakfast. Oh
Listen.
yeah, that baby boy stuff.
She brings up an interesting point here that so right after the tension, I mean, do you need some downtime before you start? You know, you have to. You got to find a way.
You take a couple of minutes to yourself. You
Okay.
like, you know, my last freaking nerve. And then maybe 15, 20 minutes after the conversation, he went downstairs and played a video game or do whatever you do.
Right.
And you're in the room reading your book or whatever you're doing. Sometimes, a lot of times, something comes up because you have time in your own head to really pick apart that argument. Was it a real argument in the first place? Is the fight worth the battle? Like, is it really worth it? Or it may be, but he's still your partner. You're still attracted. He walked in the room with the square sweatpants, and it's like, whoa, wait. Let me think about this thing for a minute.
And listen,
Hold on, let her talk. Let her talk.
Listen.
It's a move.
listen, nine,
Think about it for a minute. Let's try to figure this out. Okay. And then with
See.
that, you know, the argument is still an argument, but I'm still attracted and I need you in that moment.
yes.
I need some stress. I need
Listen.
to bring it down.
Listen.
Not for nothing. That endorphin that you get during sex is almost a healer. It gets rid of the headache. It relieves stress. It does all that good stuff that you complained about prior to.
Listen.
Naturally, it gets rid of the stress. It gets rid of the headache. The endorphins that actually makes you feel better. And it clarifies your head. So why not? So when I'm in the shower, cussing you out still, I'm sleep. I can sleep well. I'm not up trying to figure the argument out. I sleep and with a calmer head.
Okay, well, listen.
I have rational thoughts. I brought myself down, and I can actually have a clear thought about the argument. So when it's time to go back in, I can come with real ideas and not just my feelings.
Okay, watch
Not that
this.
I feel like you did. I can have a real thought behind it, not just how I feel. But sometimes, even though people's feelings are valid, they're not valid in an argument if you can't factualize it. If you don't have facts behind the argument, well, then why is it? Why are you doing it? I'm not going to argue with you on how I feel, because they're my feelings. You may not feel the same way.
Right.
But they're mine, and I'm not going to invalidate yours. I want you to invalidate mine. But in that moment, are they worth what you're doing?
Listen, you are every man's dream come true.
Especially yours. Oh, Lord.
That is every man's dream come true. But the reality, you know, and I'm gonna say this: you're different. You're just different because
I told you
because
from the start.
there's a lot of women who can't come back from it. Not you talking about, you know, 20 minutes or maybe an hour. They can't come back from it the next day, and sometimes even the next week. And oftentimes they use the argument as you know as a pawn. You know, walking around in your little nightie, and you know you ain't gonna give me none. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
That depends. And a lot of times,
That's a problem.
we say that we're not because we're taught to say that we're not. We are very sexual. A lot of times we're more sexual than men,
Yes.
but we're taught to suppress it.
Right.
So we don't, it's not spoken of, but we grown. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you can't lay in my bed and nobody, that's not what we're doing.
Right.
You're going to have to do something else.
Right. Right. Now listen, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm that guy who I think just like you. I'm like, hey, let's get over it. You know what I'm saying? You know, holding you is way better than not talking to you. You know what I mean? Holding you, I'd rather, if we do nothing but cuddle, you know what I mean? That, you know, that would lead to probably some love for that night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's got to start that way, and you know, that's a great way to kind of break the ice. But I have had occasions, a few occasions where I'm like so disinterested after the conversation. I'm so, you know, not that I'm necessarily upset, but I'm like, what? You know, the way you handle the conversation or the issue or something, that I'm just like, man, nah, I'm not even feeling it.
Right.
You know, and you could touch and rub on me, you know, it's gonna take a little while,
Right.
and then I'll get in the position and be able to make something happen. But, you know, if you just leave it up to me, I'm probably gonna turn my back that night, and it happens.
You know what should happen to you? You can turn your back, but every woman, I don't care who you are, has that little buddy in the drawer. You can be like right there, and me and little buddy's gonna take off, and you gonna be looking crazy.
Oh no, I ain't gonna be no buddies.
This thing, she still gonna get hurt.
No,
while your back turned.
Listen, that is a flag. That is a foul. I'm going to the free throw line. It ain't gonna be no buddies. Ain't gonna be no battery popping. No.
I'm gonna tell you what.
That ain't.
You gonna go to sleep, man.
You might do it, but you need to go out in the living room somewhere. You can't just.
I tried with you. And you turned me down the thing that you would probably have a fit if I did to you. You turned me down, you lay right in the bed, you know I'm around, I'm touching, I'm feeling, I'm trying, and you turned your back on me, cool.
I know, baby, but
I'm not gonna force myself on anybody because that's illegal, and I'm not gonna do it.
I know.
I'm gonna be able to feel you, all the stuff that's in your mind that makes a difference, the smell of a man, the feel of a man.
Right.
And I'm gonna get where I need to be in your presence, because you need to know that I want to be satisfied. I ain't got to go out here and cheat.
Now,
I'm
you
going to
know
be right
what?
here with you and get exactly what I need, and you need to know.
Hold on, you bringing up another subject, because when you bring that toy, that's like bringing another man to a little bit. It's not the whole degree,
No.
but to about 20-30% degree. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. You ain't thinking about me while you're playing with it, so I already know the other half of the equation.
We already know.
What?
You know, already know. By the time you hear that little buddy, you already know you need to roll
I'm
over.
already turned on.
Yeah, you already know to roll over and push that thing out that hand and handle your business.
Go ahead, Jack. No, no.
You know, because
you can hold on to it for a little while. Go ahead.
Yeah. While we still, you know, this is good. But besides that, it's a wake up call, and what she's saying is,
yeah, but
she ain't going nowhere.
That can be flagrant. I don't care.
It can be a flagrant.
That can be flagrant.
But more.
It's all. But at the end of the day, the way you would want for me to satisfy you, we expect the same.
Right.
Men have been programmed to believe that we don't want it. Those are lies. We want it probably more than you do. We think about it and we talk about it probably twice as much as you do. Barbershop talk has nothing to do with beauty shop talk, and we probably talk a circle around you. 99% of the time, because we spend more time in the beauty shop. Well, you're in there for an hour, we're in there for 4. So we spend more time there.
Right.
So the truth of the matter is, we talk about the exact same things you guys talk about, but from a female perspective, and we give more detail.
I know, and I would love.
They don't tell it. We talk crazy. You walk in, you would probably blush at the stuff that goes on in the conversations we have.
I would love to be on the wall or fly on the wall in that conversation. I would
tell you
absolutely love it.
We gonna find out. But we gotta go to break.
Yeah, we gotta go to
TK,
break.
stay on with us.
Yeah.
You on tonight, girl.
Yeah.
And you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You and your little buddy.
Yeah, we.
your little bullet.
Yeah.
But again,
Right.
to any young person, don't be offended by anything we're talking about. But one of the things I want to say is make sure we all are healthily having, I like to say, covered sex, and make sure we're responsible.
Okay.
When I say that is for all the ones that's not in a relationship, and even the ones that's not for sure. Make sure we're doing things in a way that we will be covered.
Yeah.
Because again, we got a lot of things going on, and again, we are in the ATL. I don't know where you are, where you might be, but again, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I want to make sure everybody stays safe. That's why we did a prayer earlier, because again, I want to make sure everybody stay covered, okay, under His grace and mercy. We are about to go to break, but one of the things I want to make sure you know, subscribe. YouTube, subscribe. It costs you nothing. You don't have to worry about no penny or 30 cents here and there. Subscribe to help us grow to a place where we need to be. And I need your help. And also, this Friday, Valentine's Day is coming up around the corner. We're going to be doing some great things with Pastor Anthony this Thursday. Back with Bar Talk with Jay, and I can tell you it's on fire. Tonight, TK is throwing blows, lower cup, uppercut. I ain't see that coming. It's all like that. With Craftmatic, my man sitting next to me, dealing it with me. So again, we gotta ask you, where are you in the come to a relationship? Are you one that feel like she should, but you're not warming it up? Or are you one that he's trying to warm it up and you just cold because you're not happy where you're at?
Because maybe he didn't
give
you what you wanted. He didn't treat you the way you wanted. He didn't buy you the gift you wanted. He didn't spend the time that you wanted. Those are the things that really cause people to not want to be with you. And I know women just use it so much though, man. I just have a notion. Maybe
What's your notion?
Maybe I don't know. The notion is that women use the lack of sex as a tool. Right? They hold out on their husbands. How can you be in a house, married, sleep in the same bed for years and have sex once a month? Something's not right.
I do
Right? In fact, let's cover this, and this may give us just some additional food for thought on tonight's subject. I looked up the frequency of sex among married couples. It depends on how old they are. Okay. Our survey looked at the sex lives of married people by age. They found that between the ages of 18 and 29, married people have sex about twice a week, a little over twice a week, 112 times a year. All right. Between 30 and 39, they have sex 7 times a month. Right. 7 times a month is just shallow of, a little over 2 times a week. And then, of course, from age 50 to 59, they have sex 6 times a month. That's, 1 and some change a week, right? And, when you get that age, maybe you don't need sex as much,
I hope so.
I think twice a week is probably...
I want to be in a wheelchair chasing that. I ain't lying. I'm telling you right now, this is my girl. I'm going to be in a wheelchair chasing that behind. Come here, girl. Come here.
Me too.
Kane and all. I ain't like Big Daddy Kane.
Daddy got a place for you to sit.
What? We ain't got to go to bed.
Do you think it's possible for a couple to have a successful relationship without sex?
No,
Okay.
it's not possible.
It's not possible. It's
Not. If you have everything else in place, you still need that physical connection to solidify what you're feeling emotionally. You just absolutely need the caress, the gentleness, the whatever you need that.
Yes.
You need the hug. You need that affection to solidify your emotion. I don't think it's possible for you to be in a situation for a long, extended period of time and not have sex. It's just not possible. And if you are, you're a different being.
No,
right.
But I'm gonna say,
human. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say TK is on normal circumstances. She's totally correct.
Right.
But and now I'm gonna give you something out the box, TK. So again, it's nothing against you at all. You were that person that did all that for you, been there for you.
Right.
And something was to happen to her.
Right.
And you could not. There is people out there that does not want to do it anymore.
I mean, there are situations. There's always exceptions.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. This is an exception. This ain't the reg.
You've already built
Exactly.
something. So if I'm in a relationship with somebody, he's in a car accident and he's a quad and he can't, or if something happens where he just can't perform, there are things that sexually, there are instances where you can make do with what you have, and it doesn't necessarily have to be him doing the work. You can kind of do. So there's always going to be some type of exception to the rule, and different avenues. Creative minds. Desperation brings on creative minds.
There
so
you go.
If you're attracted to that person, then you figure it out.
Yeah, and
that's what. And I'm gonna tell you right now. That's what I love about you, TK. That's what I was talking about. Is that same thing that happens when things don't work out in your job, your life, in a relationship. It's the same thing. You got to be outside the box and find ways to make it still happen.
Yeah.
It's not give up.
Right.
It's not quit. It's fight. It is okay. This is just another trial. Can you get past that tribulation? Quit playing with, oh, well, it's so easy. No, quit listening to all that craziness and know what's in your spirit. Because your spirit is knowing this is a good dude. This guy always held me down. So I'm going to find a way.
Right.
Now that would make that man in his darkest, think about that darkest corner about when I want to commit suicide. I can't do this no more. I feel so low. But she finds a way to make herself satisfied still with me in my low of low. I won't quit. We do not need to ever quit. And we need to help each other up. We do not need to tear down. Listening to your friends with this foolishness of, oh, he can't do nothing. You need to go over here. Listen. Stop that. Quit destroying good people with foolishness. Because if you stand strong for him, he will wake back up and be that stronger person without that limb. And that's why people that don't have a limb will tell you, don't ever give me pity. Because I'm still a whole person. You just look at me different.
Right.
Change your view. And expect more than what you see. Because they will give you more when you stop looking and judging. That's all I'm saying.
And you know, you touched on the issue. You know, they don't necessarily have to be a paraplegic for it not to work.
I mean, no.
There's oftentimes, I think, when a husband or a wife is not being satisfied by their spouse, and that probably causes some, there's no fire, there's no zest, there's no major desire. If you don't, at the heart and core of good sex, there's one word that describes it all. But before and after that, it needs to be some love making, and some holding, and some touching, and some feeling, and those kind of things. Especially with women, those are oftentimes things that turn a woman on.
Conversation.
I mean, she gonna have some great sex, and she gonna have her top of the ladder orgasm, and that's gonna happen. But she'll feel cared for, and she'll feel loved, and she'll feel nurtured by the holding or the touching or bringing her breakfast or kissing her before you roll over and go good night. I mean, there's a lot of ways. There is something happening in those homes that is causing a husband and a wife to not physically love one another. And I'm attempting to get to some of that. But if your man doesn't please you, TK, then you're saying as long as he's a good man, you can work with that.
Yeah, she said you can pull out her bullet. That's what she said.
You can teach a person how to please you. That's not hard, but you have to be willing to have a conversation. He has to be open to the conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of times what you did with the previous 3 women may not work with the next one.
Right.
So you have to be willing to say, oh, instead of faking it, not doing it, I don't have patience for that, I'm too old.
Right.
I'm going to tell you that that's not working. Let's do this because this is what I like.
Right.
This is what's going to get me there. So you have to be willing to take your man pride and put it to the side and let me tell you what, nobody knows me better than me.
Right.
Let me help you help us. The same thing with you, with the man.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing what you need for me to do, tell me what. Now I'm not telling you to just be a butt about it and be just oblivious to my feelings concerning it.
Right.
But have a conversation with me to say, okay, that was cool, but let's do this because I know this is what gets me there. And we have an open, adult, rational conversation about you and I because we're the team.
Right.
And I'm trying to make you happy and you're going to make me happy and we'll be better for it.
Absolutely. And you know, it helps if you just had a good session when you have that conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Really, crap? Really?
I mean, you don't want to blow the mood. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to.
I'm mad now because after a good session, I have no complaints.
Well, no, you still might say, baby, I need it to the left, just a little bit more, just a little harder, a little long. Can you get a little longer? A little harder.
That next morning,
right.
Next morning, like, listen, last night we were a little off. And just don't put the finger on one end of it. We were off because you wasn't where I needed you to be, which means probably I wasn't where you needed me to be because I'm acting off of you. You ain't doing what I need you to do.
Yes.
I'm going to be a little light. I'm not going to do what you need me to do.
Okay.
So we were off.
Right.
I feed off of you and you feed off of me. We were off and maybe we need to figure something about for us. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you singularly or me singularly. It's about us as a team. At the end of the day, we are just a team sport.
Man, you are representing the women tonight. You are, I think, a little bit of an anomaly. I think you a little different because you sound just.
I told you this from the beginning.
Listen, I already done heard it 70 shows ago. You know what I'm saying? I just like the way you put it. So, I don't know what else to talk about. Let me ask you this. Let me just hear from a woman. What does sex do for a woman? And I want you to try to be, as close to intimate as you can. What does it do for you, or maybe do for you to your partner or with your partner? How does it affect you? How does it stimulate you? How does it,
Sex for me is a build, like glue to our building. It holds us together. It makes us. For women, sex is not about. Once we give you our body, we've given you everything we got to give. We've given you because at this point, by the time we get to sex, the vessel was there. We already got our head. Now we've given you our body. We've given you everything we've got.
Right.
So for you to make love to me, be passionate with me, to be affectionate with me in a way that makes me feel like nothing else in this world matters in that moment.
Right.
It's something, it makes me feel like, okay, well, we're going to put our backs to the wall, and we're going to, whatever come at us, we got it. Because you got my back and I got yours. It solidifies everything we feel in our head, especially if you're there in a way, because not for nothing, I'm not going to speak for nobody but Tiki, but some nights you want that passionate love making slow, and then those nights when your man can respond to you without you even requesting, you want a little bit something more aggressive that night, and he can respond to you in a way that you don't have to say a word, and he can address the issue without it's unfocused. It says that he's paying attention, he's listening, he knows me. Because a lot of men don't take the time to get to know you. They just want to have sex with you, and everybody they've had sex with is treated the same.
Right.
But when you can feel my vibe and know what I need tonight, if I'm having a rough day at work, I might need to work off some stress, and it might just be a little aggressive tonight. Or I'm just having a rough day, anniversaries are passing, whatever the case, and I just need to have that gentle, soft touch, the soft kisses. I need that, and you're addressing it just by knowing me.
Yes.
It says a lot. It speaks volumes for where we can go and what I'm willing to do for you. You make it, with those instances, what I'm willing to do for you. Because I know you're willing to do for me, you're proving it.
Right.
You're proving it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I can just imagine a woman Man, listen, boy, you said something right there.
Boy, did she hit on some things? She had me thinking, I lied.
I think I'm starting to sweat.
I lied. You know, because
yeah.
that's taking the time to know your partner.
But listen, and what comes to my mind is that, see, I'm, as an older man, and Jay, you can identify with it. As an older man, I know what to do. I know the very soft touch all the way to the other end of the equation, the more aggressive. And it's important that the woman is always communicating what she needs.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Because I already know what I need, and what I need don't take a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Don't take a whole lot. But I love to satisfy the woman. That's the whole objective for me, is to satisfy the woman. And most women don't really have to spell it out, ABC, but if you're not being pleased by your man, ladies, it's okay to nudge him, whisper in his ear, tell him, say something, because what I'm hearing is as long as the man is hitting your switch, everything is beautiful. And it don't take much for a man to get his rocks off. What's most important is that the woman get her rocks off. And if a man goes into that bedroom with the sole intention of making sure that she's satisfied, sometimes you ain't got but an hour. Sometimes you got all night. You got to play it by ear. You got to play position, and you got to put the program in place so that you can give her what she needs. Because I think that's what's most important.
And I'm gonna tell you, when you really work as a team, and I'm gonna put in some things out there, having some fun. You might come up short. Okay, and she don't get hers. Yeah.
Okay.
But what was really nice about what TK saying, that woman will wake you up and remind you.
Yes.
I ain't get mine.
Right.
Okay? And she will get on you and will get hers.
Get hers.
But letting you know, I ain't gotta go nowhere else.
Right.
And at that moment, you just lit my fire.
Right.
Because that night that we had that you didn't get yours, my mind might not have been there, but I'm gonna be there for you.
Right.
I know I love you, and I ain't trying to go nowhere else too. And it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But guess what? That night wasn't fire. It wasn't fireworks, but it was our night because we were still together.
Right.
When she woke up, she thought of me,
and
he wasn't all that night, but that's mine.
Right.
And got on top and still got yours.
Right.
Made us complete.
Right.
That's what makes that fire keep going. That's why suicides and me giving up ain't in my mind.
Right. Right.
Because that's that completion.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to get back to instead of complaining. It's easy for her just to get on the phone. Girl, that was 4 minutes.
Right.
Because his bad day at work. Okay, that ain't helping.
Right.
But when she did that morning,
without
calling her girl, now she got something to tell her girl.
Right.
I love him. You know what I'm saying? Not about how it went. Because again, giving too much information ain't helpful.
Right.
But what's helpful is I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
That's all they ever need to know. Not how it went. And that's for y'all.
We haven't touched on the subject. And the article that I read says something like the average married person has sex 9 times a month, and the average single person has sex 6 times a month. And we haven't talked about single life, because if you're in a single life, you're not necessarily trying to please all them things that they might want and the needs that they might have. I mean,
you about you. When you think what's about you as a single person,
right, that's what
you don't care, but you don't never have to see that person if you don't choose to. You don't care.
Right.
I get it in.
You good.
I'm saying.
You care about when you single.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm single.
Right. I mean, and that's the reality, is that, and when you come from living single life a long time, you got some major adjustments to do when you get a partner.
Correct.
And
right.
Some major adjustments.
By the time you decide that that's going to be your partner, a lot of the adjustments should have already started. Once you try to pull, when you're taking somebody off the market, and you're just, because to me, and I know it sounds weird, to me, dating, unless we have a conversation, we're dating. you could be my little boyfriend or whatever, but that means I'm not going to completely remove myself from the market until you make a commitment to me.
Right.
You're my fiance or you're my husband. Because if you're just my boyfriend, which means you see something but you haven't committed to it, I may not be having sex with the people I'm going out with, but I'm going to keep myself out there because apparently you don't know the value in me, and I do.
Right. But there's somebody
So
you out there having sex with.
You're going to commit to me and we're going to do this and we're building towards the next step, because if you're not building towards the next step, then I'm not going to take myself off the market for you. And then I have to start over fresh and I eliminate all these good candidates and you just playing around. I'm not going to do that. That's what children do. Grown people are realistic about their expectations, and you say, okay, we're dating, we're monogamous. I'm not going to have sex with anybody, but I'm going to go out with this guy at the job who's really nice to me. My work husband, that's what we call him. Our work husband. He could be a candidate if I wasn't involved. He would probably be my man. I'm going to have lunch with him because that keeps you on your toes.
Oh, yeah?
It keeps you appreciating me.
Okay. I mean, if that's what you think you need
Oh,
to
that's
do
that thug
for
move.
me to keep appreciating you, but it's got to be, it's got to be my name on some mortgages or some car notes or something. You can't forget about those kinds of
To me,
things.
it's cute to say I'm your girlfriend. That's cute, but I'm not in high school.
So let me ask you this. No, this is something that we need to cover because we haven't really given a single folk their due diligence tonight.
Come on.
So what is the sex life of a single woman? I mean, what does that look like?
It all depends on the woman.
Okay.
It just varies. It's just like with the man. Sometimes you have one person you're intimate with and you're going out to get free dinners and movies and concert tickets and that type of stuff from somebody else.
Oh, yeah,
it all depends on what the goal is.
Yeah,
like I might have one person that I'm intimate with because I respect my body. And
right.
It's the person I want to be intimate with. But yeah, I like him because we can go out and we go to a nice place, we have dinner. But it just all depends. It may be it's women out there who feel like they can do everything a man can do. I respect the woman and that's what she chooses to do. That's her body. But I don't choose to do that. She may feel like, so I'm going to go out with him, we're going to go to a movie. I've been seeing her about 2 weeks. I'm going to have sex with me good, and we're going to the next one. That's her choice. Her body, her choice. But for me, I can go, yeah, you know, man, you who I call when I need a quick fix or tune up. I'll call you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go out with somebody else to go to a movie, or somebody else I want to take in public, or somebody else I want to take around my family because you mesh well, or somebody else who can keep my car maintenance, or whatever you choose. Just like with me, y'all just don't say it. Most people don't say. I got 6 people I'm seeing. I'm having sex with one of this guy. He's real nice. He's real sweet. He's good with, he's good around the house. He can fix the toilet. He can come over and, he can do what he's doing. And I got this guy. He likes to go out. He's a party person. When I want to go and enjoy myself, he's a VIP. He pops bottles. He gets bottle service. And that's what he's for. And what you doing this weekend, that it just all depends on where you are in your headspace and what you want to do.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. And that equation that she painted, that picture she painted for women, men also have the same equation.
100%.
Right? And especially as you get more grown, you realize that you can't really be having sex with, lots of people because you're going to find yourself getting in a little trouble. But you might have multiple sex partners. Mm-hmm. And I think as long as you are earnest about the scenario and careful,
you know what I mean? The trick to that is, even with a woman, with women, if we've had sex with you, we ain't really trying to get you got somebody else. Now, we respect it, but we take it personal initially.
Right.
We take it personally initially, but I respect you being honest with me enough to let me know what's going on. So I respect it. Don't mean I like it, but I respect it.
Ooh, say the truth.
Thing doesn't go both ways.
Right.
And if I say, I like you, it's cool. But I do want to let you know that I'm saying other people because I don't know where we're going, and I really kind of like, I like it the way it is right now. I'm not looking, whatever it is, the conversation needs to be had, so you won't take a person's choice.
See,
I'm never going to put you, when you see me out in public, just know I'm going to speak to you. I don't care who I'm with, because that person knows the same thing that you know.
Okay.
I'm not really doing, this is who I'm out with today. Now, if I call you later, man, because you seen me with him or whatever, okay, well, you are not who I need to be with in the first place, because I was honest with you.
See,
listen,
you think so much like a guy.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's what's different about you. You're not talking to me like women have talked to me for all of my life. From girlfriends and ex-girlfriends and cousins and cousins and aunties. You're not talking like the women, of the world that I've been in, the world that Jay and I've been in. You're talking very different.
Right.
And listen, if I'll put myself on front row. I would have 6 friends, and I'm having sex with 2 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That those women, it seems that those women, each of them, whether I'm having sex with them, well, I mean, not the ones I'm not having sex with, but the women who I am having sex with, they seem like they got stake in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They got a position, you know what I mean? They can call me if they need some love, or they can call me if they want to go out, and I'm gonna be that guy for them. But none of them know about the other one. And I bet not see you out, and the women basically don't want to see me out. If they see me out with another woman, that's blatant, because they don't know about the other woman.
From the beginning,
Women aren't that open.
Why should I expect not to see it?
Yeah, but first of all, men are not admitting to it, and women are not going for it.
It's not, the problem is you're not admitting to it, but you don't know if I'm going for it or not.
No, we know.
Well,
You don't know.
We know.
Hold on.
We know.
I'm gonna jump in.
We do know.
I'm gonna jump in. I admit, I push. I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship. I push it and I don't play. And anybody that ever dated me recently would say,
anything changes, that's when you have to make, even if her sex is phenomenal, the first sign that she's getting too crazy, you remove yourself from that situation. Look, I like
there
you.
you go.
I already told you what it was, and I'm out.
Right.
Because one of the things that I will say, being in that position, making sure that I don't take away a person's choice, is being more honest.
Right.
Because I know where lies lead, and I know where my past was.
Yeah.
So making change was saying I didn't want to be in a monogamous relationship. Now, one of the things that anybody ever be with me or been with me will know is I'm not going to show you disrespect.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to tell you this.
But you may not give them all that they want.
I'm not going to give them everything on the upfront anyway.
Right.
Because bottom line, you got to earn that.
Right.
But one of the things I'm going to tell you is I'm not going to be disrespectful to you because that's not me.
Absolutely.
As a character of a man, that's not me.
Absolutely.
So they're automatically going to take what I said, I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship, and they're going to say, he's showing me that's what he want to be. Because that's what I'm used to. I have a vision. And with my vision, I want to go down my vision path than just chasing a woman that I was doing for a long time.
Yeah.
Thinking I was finding happiness, didn't find it. Because I didn't understand it within me.
Right.
Once I found it within me and I found vision and purpose, I want to go down this other path. And when I find that right one, great.
Yeah.
But one thing I have to say is, it is a double-edged sword. I have to be very careful because I know me.
Yeah.
And I have to learn her and make sure I'm not disrespecting. Because sometimes I can be so, what Jeffrey said, what was that word he said today? So just worldly or just out there where I need to hone back in. Because again, even saying it, I'm showing something somewhat different.
Yeah.
And that's why people home in.
Yeah.
So single life can be more active, but the one thing I will tell you is be careful.
Yeah. Be very careful. And let me just make this point. The statistics about the average average married person having sex 9 times a month, and the average single person having sex 6 times a month is from WebMD.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so
it
what,
ain't for me.
But listen, the point of the matter is that single folks are having sex, and if you're having sex with somebody and you don't have the conversation, your partner could very well be having sex with other people, and you have to decide if you're okay with that, if you're not going to get involved in that, or if you don't want to talk about it. But the point of the matter is that there's somebody who you're having sex with, and they probably are having sex with somebody else, but most of the time the conversation does not happen. Unless you are falling in love or falling in heavy like, or starting to create these expectations that you're going to be with me every weekend, or we're going to spend every Friday and Saturday night together like we are a couple. When you start making those decisions, that's when it changes the game. But I just want to make the point here that single folk are having sex almost as much as married folk nowadays.
Yes.
But we're not having those conversations about, if if you're going to be my mainstay, or if, you know, okay, you're going to have somebody else, and we're not going to come together. At least it's not happening in my world. Is it happening in your world, Jay?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. Jay, man, I get my behind handed to me. Because again,
Right,
one of the things I get handed is because I'm more open. I'm more upfront. So by me being upfront, people come back and say, you know something? Even though you was honest and you was upfront, they can't always accept it, and I have to respect it. So there are certain people, and this is what I love. If I talk to you and I understand that's what you want, and you said 6 people that you would talk to, and you would only mess with maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, out of 6, 4. The 2 made me aware that what they wanted from the conversation.
Okay.
I did not go down a path that I know I didn't want to go.
And
so
if they'd have suggested that they wanted,
exactly,
they'd be part of the team.
So the bottom line is, I listened. I didn't let a person astray.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So a person that wanted something and they didn't say anything, that's not my fault.
Right.
But a person that said, I'm not into a person, at least they're in a monogamous relationship, anybody that ever talked to me, no. I respect them from the front.
Right.
And I've never led them astray.
Right.
Because I don't have to. Because sometimes people are in your life for a friend, they categorize, and we're great friends.
Right. And we may have sex.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. On them, I never have.
Yeah.
I have friends I've never. TK.
Yeah, I do too.
TK is my friend.
Right.
TK, you're my friend, correct? I gotta make sure.
Correct.
All right. Never had sex with TK. Very attractive woman. Me and her vibed. We've been cool since day one.
Right.
And she married one of my best friends.
Right.
And me and TK still to this very day is tight.
Right.
If you see us out, you would swear up and down we was together, and you would never know nothing different. But one thing I would tell you, I've never ever disrespected her from the day I met her. Have I, TK?
Not at all.
From the day I met her.
Right.
So that is a character of a man. Not coming on the show playing. As in talking to a person that met me way before she met her future husband.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.